There you go, Mike. You go ahead and introduce us.
Oh, there you go. It is the Alamo City Sportscast here coming at you from San Antonio, Texas. My name is Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. We're doing a late show today. Typically, we do this show starting at 10:30 in the morning, but because of various things, Joe with a new job in training right now, we're going to have to push things back a little bit, move it up and down as time goes on. You can take part in this show by joining our YouTube chat line. Subscribe to us at the Alamo City Podcast Network. It's going to be a fun show. Again, we upload these onto Spotify, onto iHeart, and all of those places where you get your favorite podcasts. But Joe, how you doing this Friday afternoon, my man?
Oh, I'm doing good, and just to go ahead and start the show off right, since my Dallas Cowboys did win yesterday, and I know we have
Yeah.
some Seahawk fans here, I'm going to go ahead and play the damn grito of shame for them. I know you hate it.
No,
I gotta
no, the
do it.
grito of shame.
No me llores,
You
no
just
me llores. I don't want to hear
You
it.
just wanted to do the grito of shame. There was no reason for doing that. The Cowboys were favored to win, my man. They
Yeah,
were favored to win, and they took care of business. And it was an ugly game last night.
I
And it's
was.
so funny because last night I'm watching these games, right? So I'm watching the Cowboys Seahawks game, and the Seahawks take the lead going into halftime. Very dramatic, with that pass interference call that was originally ruled a touchdown, and then Mike McCarthy calls a timeout, and then they run it in, and all this stuff going on, right? And it was a great game. They're up 21-20 at halftime. Cowboys come on and hold on at the end of the game to win this game. Big win for the Cowboys. Their first win of the season against somebody with a 500 record. Okay, because they haven't beaten anybody with a winning record necessarily. Everyone has a losing record or 500. So Seattle is their biggest win of the year. They took care of business. What is this? Win number 13 in a row at home, something like that,
Yeah, they're on the
somewhere
roll
around
now.
there. But at the same time, the Spurs are playing the Hawks,
Oh, God. I
and
didn't even know. I
I'm
didn't even watch that game.
I'm
Don't
following
even
along on
bother.
my phone, and I'm like, man, Sohan's going off offensively.
Yeah.
And I watched the last few minutes of the game. What
Come
has
on, it's
been
the
told to
Spurs.
me, what has been told to me is that Sohan played very well offensively, that he was off the ball. And what has been told to me was that Sohan gave up a lot of points because Trae Young went off for more than 40. But all in all, it was a career night. And that last play where Sohan's trying to make a bucket to tie the game, send it to overtime, and ends up getting called for the charge. That was bad, man.
Growing
I
pains,
understand
man.
Trey. I understand Trae Young was trying to draw the charge, and he did his job. And I know that people are like, well, he was moving his feet. That has nothing to do with anything. You can move your feet and draw a charge. Okay.
Yeah.
It's whether you are in a legal guarding position when the contact is made. And he wasn't, man. He had his hands in his pockets basically, but he was leaning backwards.
Yeah.
And you're leaning backwards, almost. I don't want to say a sitting position, but he's probably 15% into a sitting position, like a 15-degree angle. And because of that, it's a block.
Hey, I
It's a
got to tell you
block.
something, man. I got to tell you something. We got a special guest just because we're
Yeah.
doing the show, and I missed the special guest. So I invited this special guest to come on to be
Yeah.
part of the show today. So I'm going to go ahead and bring our special guest on. It's none other
No
than
way.
Carolina T. What's up, CT?
What's up? What's up, y'all? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
CT.
I can't hear Jimenez, but I can hear you, Joe.
oh, yeah. You're not going to be able to hear Jimenez, I don't think,
Oh, I
because
can't. Oh, I gotta put it. Oh,
he's going to
oh.
be on a different channel here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have to put him on the YouTube then.
You'll probably have to listen to
Okay.
him on YouTube. See, when we're here in the studio, you're going to be able to hear all the channels here, the audio channels, because
Nice.
everything's coming into the mixer. But since Jimenez is joining us remotely, it's going to be hard for you to hear him.
So tell Carolina that I thought that Sohan got
But you guys
screwed
can
at
hear
the
me
end.
though, right?
Yeah,
I can hear.
you.
I can hear.
We can hear you.
So tell Carolina that I thought that he got screwed over.
Who?
Sohan on that last play.
Mike is saying that he thinks Sohan got screwed over on that last play from the Spurs game last night.
He did.
Yeah, you hear her. She said he did.
Okay. People thought I was going to come hating for him. He had a good game offensively. So I have to give him his flowers and say that he had a good game last night offensively. From what I understand, defensively, not so much, but on the offensive side of the ball, he did his job. So, props to him. Knocked down all his 3-pointers. I think at some point I'm going to have to color my hair pink or something like that because if he keeps shooting at a 35 to 40% clip, I'm going to have to do something like that. But ask Carolina, what color hair should I do? Should I dye myself when the time is right?
Jimenez says, what color hair should he get dyed? Like how should he color his hair? In other words, what color of the rainbow should he use when the time is right to honor Sohan?
I think he should do the color hot pink because he's gonna hold on. I think he should do the color hot pink because I think that'll stand out. He'll look like a troll that he is, and that'll be perfect.
Now, do I have to go out in public? Do I have to go out in public, or do I have to, or can I just stay home with my purple hair, my pink hair?
Should he go out in public, or should he just stay home with his purple hair? You know what? I think he should get the frosted tips, like from back in the day in the early 2000s.
Zach Morris.
Was the thing.
Yeah, that's too corny. I just feel like I don't think it's corny. I think we bring it back. That'd be crazy. I can hear Jimenez too. By the way, now I have it on my phone.
Okay,
talking.
Good.
But yeah, I do think he should do the pink hot hair for sure. But I find it really weird that Jeremy hasn't dyed his hair color recently. Yeah. And I'm wondering about that. Why is it still kind of like a frosted blonde still? When is he going to turn it a different color?
Maybe he just said, you know what? He's not going to focus on that. He wants to focus on trying to get a win. Maybe it's a thing. Hey, I'm not going to color my hair until we get a win. It's going to be a long time.
Oh, well, you see, I mean, I want to honor the guy because he has been doing better shooting wise. And I keep using the phrase, it's a small sample size, but the sample size is getting bigger, right? To the point where, it has to be taken seriously. So that being said, does it have to actually be painted, like colored hair, or can it be like the spray can type of hair coloring?
He's asking if he has to really color his hair, or should it be the spray tan? Just to go ahead and just get the color in that only lasts 24 hours, 48 hours, and washes out.
He's got to get the full color, dye your hair blonde, and go full pink, and keep it pink for as long as, I would say, at least another 2 to 3 months.
No,
2 to 3 months. I got a business to run,
and
girl.
And then have fun with your clients. And when your clients come up to you and be like, "Hey, why's your hair hot pink?" You can tell them why.
Yeah, that's not how that works in finance, but I'm going to go ahead and say no to that. I'll do it for a weekend at some point if he continues doing this. Because like I said last night, defensively, apparently he didn't do so well, but offensively he brought it. He kind of got screwed over on that last play. Pop at the end of the game did not contest it or anything else. And Pop, oh my God, there was a great stat that someone posted on Twitter earlier today talking about the fact that the Spurs are 3-15, and the last time they were 3-15, Popovich fired Bob Hill. It's been that long. And so it's just one of those things where Pop just looks like he's disinterested.
Wow.
He looks disinterested, like he doesn't care.
Carolina, you going to stand for him and giving that Pop slander? Or are you on the same page?
No. She needs to understand also.
No,
and
I'm
I know
on the
she
same
does.
page as Jimenez only because I want to still be able to live in San Antonio.
Spurs have lost 80 of the last 105 games. That's crazy.
That's a lot of games, man. I'm not even gonna lie. That's a ton of games.
It is. And but I had presented this question the other day, and I still want to know what you guys think. Do you think that had it been another coach, would he have been fired by now?
Oh no,
we debated this on the show the other day. Yeah, I mean, name another coach who has 5 losing seasons in a row. Name another coach who is 85 games under 500 over a 4-year period and keeps their job, and then starts a new season 3-15 after getting a generational talent considered to be the best prospect since LeBron James. Name another coach who keeps their job. They don't. And that's the weird thing about it is, and people think that I think that I want to have Greg Popovich shown. People think that I want him shown the door. No, I want him to be part of the organization. I want him kicked up to the front office. I don't want him to be shown the door and don't ever come back and all that stuff. No, be part of the family. just be a different job within the organization. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Tom Landry him and don't give him anything. Let him be scouting. Let him be part of the GM tree or whatever the case may be.
What are your thoughts, Carolina? Do you want Coach Pop to still be part of the team? Even if he, I don't know, maybe leaves the team at some point.
I think that, yeah, for sure, he needs to be a part of the team still. Of course, I feel like once you're a Spur, you're always a Spur. Look at what happened to DeJounte Murray when he came down to San Antonio. He even had that experience too. He, got shown a lot of love from. So we'll see Greg Popovich doing anything else except for being a part of the Spurs organization. But I think
we're kind of losing your audio there, Carolina.
Coach Pop, and I think it takes a lot of courage to disagree with Coach Pop and be able to stand on it. So, whether you're right or wrong, Jimenez, I don't expect Pop to get fired. I don't want him to get fired, but it does take a lot of courage to say what people don't really want to say because they don't want to ruffle any feathers. I mean, had it been another coach, that he would have been fired by now, but that's not taken away from any of his greatness.
Yeah, and he is going to be on the Mount Rushmore of all-time great head coaches. The problem is that, like, the argument of him being the GOAT, had he walked out the door in 2014, you can have the legitimate argument that he is as great, if not greater, than Phil Jackson. But Phil Jackson didn't leave with 5 losing seasons in a row. Do you know what this reminds me of a little bit? And I hate to say it this way. This is very reminiscent of Kobe Bryant. Because Kobe Bryant was, what did he get? He had 5 rings as well.
It's okay, guys. I think the connection is a little weird, so I'm going to let go of the call. But next time I get on, I'm going to be on with video, and I think it'll be much better. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys.
Okay.
So, Carolina,
sounds good.
If you can hear me on this one, the parallel.
Thanks, see you later. Bye.
Okay.
Jimenez.
Oh, okay. Bye. So Joe, let's go through the parallels of this. And I love having Carolina on, and she's more than welcome to be on as long as she wants, as often as she wants. But the parallel that I've given in the past has been Tom Landry, right? Tom Landry was an old coach that just had to be let go at some point, but they did it wrong, right? They didn't let him walk out on his own terms. They basically fired him, right? And I don't want that for Pop. I do not want that for Pop. But at the same time, the Tom Landry parallel exists, but the other parallel that I look at is the fact that, Kobe Bryant had a huge career and won ring after ring after ring. But what did he do the last 5 years of his career? Nothing. They kept missing the playoffs. They had 34 and 48 records and things like that. And Kobe's greatness kind of took a little bit of a hit. Kobe retires in 2008. He's a top 5 player of all time. He holds on for so long to the point where he decimates his team, and the team is worse off because he didn't leave. To me, that's what keeps Kobe off of the top 10 list in my eyes. He's a top 20 player of all time, maybe a top 15 player of all time. But at some point, you got to learn how to exit gracefully. We saw that with David Robinson in 2003. David Robinson left a champion, walked out the door. The last image that you see is of him holding up a trophy and seeing Duncan holding up the Finals MVP trophy. That's an iconic image here in San Antonio. Pop's going to leave after 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row of losing records. And at some point, people are going to get tired of him.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Look, we got a comment right now with Jacob. Eric, Kobe just collected coin at the end.
Got to get that money, baby. Got to get that money.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. But, Spurs still going on, what is it now, 13-game losing streak? They were at 12?
They're a 13-game losing streak. And it's funny because I was talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 about the Spurs schedule. And I told him this could snowball into an 18-game losing streak.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
And they were like, no. And I said this, by the way, when it was like at 8 or 9. I said, this is looking like an 18-game losing streak. And it's this schedule is just going to get harder. Spurs are now 3-15, on track to win 14 games. And you look at their schedule right now. What they got? They've got New Orleans tonight without Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama apparently has some sort of minor health issue.
Oh, they tanking. They're resting him.
Then they've got the Bulls. Now the Bulls is a winnable game. On the road at Houston, I guess a winnable game, but that Houston team's feisty. They're playing better. Then they've got back-to-back home games against the LA Lakers. I mean, they outclass us. They've got LeBron. They've got Anthony Davis. Then they've got New Orleans again. Then they've got Milwaukee on the road against Chicago, on the road against Dallas, home against Utah. So really, maybe those games against Portland are winnable, but that's December 28th. The Spurs have not won a game. It is December 1 right now. The Spurs' last victory was November 2nd, a full calendar month in the NBA
It's a long time
without winning a game, and they were 3-2 when this losing streak started. I mean, we can all go off and say that the Spurs are learning, the Spurs are the youngest team, and all that shit.
They're giving them a pass.
We can say all that. This losing streak gets to 15, 16, 17, 18. Dude.
Well, when does it stop being, oh, the Spurs are just, the youngest team in the NBA? You know what? You have players on this team that were holdovers from last season. You have holdovers from the season prior. So at some point, you got to stop giving them a pass and hold their feet to the fire and say, you know what? At some point, this team just needs to stop getting tired of losing. You would have thought in this 13-game losing streak, somewhere, somehow, some way, the team would have finally figured out, you know what? Let's find out how to win one game. Just one game.
And last night it was primed for that last night. Yeah. Raul reaches out and says, what up, guys? Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. The third quarter slump apparently went away yesterday. The Spurs scored a lot of points in the third quarter when they typically slump. The problem is that they gave up a lot of points. And the Spurs again tonight in action in New Orleans. For those of you who are looking for a place to go watch the game, they're going to have a viewing party tonight over at the Rock over there going towards La Cantera where the Spurs' new facility's at. I was at the viewing party last weekend when they played Golden State. I loved it. They have taco trucks there. They have a full bar. They've got wine. They've got margaritas, chicken trucks, burger trucks, taco trucks, all of that stuff. Parking was easy. It was free. They've got a Christmas tree set up there, very visual. And for those of you who are worried about things like the restrooms, they've got a badass porta potty there. Okay, it's like a portable building.
Okay, so it's not just a blue porta potty.
No, it's nothing like that. It's fancy. I mean, it looks like someone's apartment when you walk in there. It is really nice. So for I know a lot of ladies out there don't like to go to the porta potties. Guys will piss anywhere, right? But this is a place where you can say, babe, we got you. It's fine. It's nice in there. It's a great facility. And again, they're going to have the viewing party tonight as the Spurs take on the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm sure there'll be a couple hundred people out there. It's going to be fun times out there.
Joe Gonzalez says, what's up with the dead Longhorn at a OSU frat? These clowns are going to get jailed up for a dumbass prank. Oh, my God.
Raul Richardson says, so it's not like the Nyosa porta potties. No. The Nyosa porta potties are the ones where I think COVID actually started at the porta potties at Nyosa. Okay?
They're rough, man. They've already.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, you walk in there at a Nyosa porta potty and you think that someone's going to tip it over.
Dude, you already walk in there and there's like an inch of piss all over the ground. You don't even want to step in there.
Yeah,
you know?
The one at the Rock is nice. Now, people keep asking me, how do you get to the Rock? Because if you are like me and you have an iPhone and you plug it into your car or whatever the case may be, it is not listed on
anywhere.
There.
Yeah.
So if you go Google Maps, it's there. So I'm going to let you know how to get there, right? Because it's confusing, and if you miss the exit, you're screwed. Basically, you drive I-10 west from San Antonio towards the rim. You do a U-turn at the rim. So instead of taking a left onto like Fiesta, Texas, you do a U-turn. About a quarter of a mile to half a mile down, there's a street that goes diagonal. It doesn't go right. It goes diagonal. And it's called Old Fredericksburg Road. You take that road there, and once you get to the stoplight, you'll be able to see where you need to go. Okay? So again, do the UE at the rim, take a diagonal right at Old Fredericksburg Road, and that'll get you there. Because if you miss it, you're screwed about 15 minutes because you're going to have to like loop your way around, and it absolutely sucks. And we have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, Ken's 5, on our chat line saying, Joe, please remind Jimenez to honor the bro code tomorrow night. Jeff and I have had conversations about this today. Okay. He goes, why do guys, he says, I understand why girls go out and hang out with their friends and take photos
Yeah.
and post where they are. He goes, why do guys like to do this? And when he says guys, he's talking about me. Like, why do guys in quotation marks, in
Air quotes.
parentheses, air quotes, you, dude, I want to be with my boys. I told them they don't have to be the cheesy smiling photo. We could do the, where we have our folded arms. We could do the, no smile look. We could do
The
all that
Chicano
stuff.
smile. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do all that stuff, man. We could keep just the top button buttoned and like unbutton the rest. We can show chest hair if we wanted to. Come on, we could do this and be a manly thing. He goes, no, bro code, baby, bro code. Dude,
what does he want? No pictures, no evidence,
no pictures. He says that the photo is going to be of me and like 8 other guys doing the Darkwing Duck that he does.
Oh, no, man.
He doesn't do photos.
Why don't we take a picture of Jeff when he's already all smashed and hammered, dude? With the closed eyes, barely has eyes open, trying to power through another drink. When he should have quit 4 drinks ago, and he's still trying to power through one more.
Yeah, somebody posted. I got to find out who it was. You know what? I took a screenshot on my phone. I thought it was funny. Someone asked the question, "Why do I always look like my eyes are closed whenever I'm doing the podcast?" And I told him it's bedroom eyes. It's my bedroom eyes. It was Castro and Sun Solar saying that I have my eyes closed half the time. I'm like, those are called bedroom eyes, baby. It's sexy.
Lord.
Don't get mad because I'm sexy every once in a while, dude. Just don't.
Do the
Chris
prompt
Gonzalez
pic.
says, Jeff, does he do the Instagram picture where he takes it high up in the high angle? Dude, the high angle makes sense, man, because we take it from a low angle, you get the double chin. High angle, no double chin. Okay.
You get to hide the panza.
Yeah, you get to suck it in a little bit,
Yeah.
The prom pose. Goodness.
Hey, I'm thinking about going tomorrow out there. I got the invite already. So
you got the invite? I'm the one who decided where we were going, by the way.
Oh, nice.
So, so we'll be hanging out downtown and bouncing around from bar to bar to bar, but I'm the one who decided this. And so from there, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways that we can go out and
we'll be there. Will there be some drunken karaoke?
I don't know of any karaoke downtown. Probably not. But I mean, the question is, because here's the thing about Jeff. Jeff is a little bit
bougie.
Moneybags likes to go to nice places, so I can see him going to a place that's nice and cool, just like laid back, and he'd be like itching, going, nah, man, I want some good bourbon. When he goes out, he wants to go out, and when he goes out, he wants to get dressed up. So how are we all going to dress? Are we going to have that conversation? Are the 6, 7, or 8 of us that are going to have the conversation like, so what are we dressing in? Are we in jeans and long sleeve shirts? What are we doing? Is that against bro code to ask the question, how are we dressing?
Casual Friday.
No, you can't.
Button-up shirt, khakis, You
can't do casual if you're going downtown. You can't.
Oh, I got a jacket. I can bring my blazer. I always got that in the car with me.
Yeah, now that's classing it up a little bit. I know I sometimes go out with Jeff, and I've met up with him with a polo and jeans before, and he comes out with a blazer and a button down. And I'm there going, oh my God, man, you look like you're the one selling me insurance instead of the other way around. But no, man. So I'm going to ask that question. Because what do you think? Does it violate bro code if one of us raises our hand and says, how's everybody dressing tonight?
I don't give a damn how everybody else is dressing. I'm just going to go as how I'm comfortable. If I'm going out, I'm going to be drinking. I'm not going to go all dressed to the nines. I can't be comfortable, man.
Not dressed to the nines. Like for me, I will wear a nice pair of jeans. I will wear not dress shoes, but I'll wear something other than sneakers, and I'll wear a button down.
Yeah, I got some nice shoes that I'm going to wear with some nice khaki pants. Probably wear a button-up shirt, polo. I'll have the blazer there just in case I need to break that out. But I'm going to go. I'm going to go all comfortable if I show up. I don't want to tell Jeff that I'm going for sure. I want to keep him guessing.
Joe reaches out to us, Joe Gonzalez, on our YouTube stream says Pineapple Express. It's more like this is the end. Is more like it, man.
Oh,
You
Lord.
know, we're gonna be right out there, dude. It's getting dark. You know, normally I have the sunlight from the windows kind of shine in. Oh my god! The other day when I was doing the podcast here from home, someone came in on our chat line and was giving me crap about being money bags because I mentioned the fact they were asking the question, why do I have the kitchen in the background? And I mentioned the fact that if I go in any other direction, I have a lot of windows and it backlights me. I get backlit.
Yeah.
So this is the only way that I can do the show where I'm not getting backlit because I have a window here, 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 here. And someone responds back like, look at Jimenez money bag with a lot of windows in his house. I didn't realize windows was a status symbol, man.
Yeah, man. Remember, they used to tax you back in the day for every window and for
Yeah.
every door you had. You used to get taxed back in the day. So that was a status symbol. The more windows and doors you had, you were a little bougie, you know?
Dude, I got wrapped right here, baby. I donated
Oh,
blood a
God.
couple of hours ago, man. But the cool thing about donating blood over at University Hospital is that if you go and you have a friend or or know somebody who works at University Hospital, you can get them 4 hours of vacation time by doing
Oh,
it.
nice.
And for every time you go there, so check this out: the first time you donate blood in a calendar year, they give you the second time they give you a $20 gift card to HEB, then a 30, then a 40, then a 50, then a 60. And I went out with $50. Dude, I got a $50 gift card today. Dude, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs says guys don't ask out guys what they're wearing. That is bull crap, man. That is bull crap. We have to ask the question, what is the vibe tonight? Okay? Because you can't have, okay, it's kind of like that Hangover episode, the Hangover scene where they're all dressed up and then they've got Alan who walks out and he's got the satchel. You can't have that
The
situation.
man purse.
Dude.
The man purse.
The man purse, right? He goes, it's a satchel, you know. Indiana
Man
Jones got a
purse.
satchel.
God, man. And you know what?
I cannot believe Jeff of all people is against this. Jeff from New York City, right, which is the most bougie city there is asking the question, or basically making the statement that you're not supposed to do that. Come on, man. Come on.
Depends. I mean, I'm gonna be under a budget because look, man, I'm gonna be going to Disney, so I gotta be smart tomorrow. I'm gonna go and show up and drink. I gotta play it smart, man.
Yeah,
So it's like,
yes, because going to Disney sucks in the sense that you
expensive.
see $100 bill fly out of your pocket every 15 to 20 minutes there at
Oh,
Disney,
yeah.
dude. It
If I go buy dinner, me and the wife, that's
Yeah.
$100 something right out the gate.
Joe reaches out to us on our YouTube stream, says that is a false statement, but most guys don't give a damn who was wearing what.
This is true, man. That's what I just said. I don't give a damn what everybody's wearing. I just know what I'm going to wear.
Yeah, Chris comes into our chat line saying, if you don't know where you're going, you don't need to ask, how do we dress?
We know where we're going. It's undisclosed location.
Okay, so I
got one. I got one tomorrow. Picture, if I show up there, we all take a picture of us drinking the shots. You know, we go ahead and put the shots or whatever we have in our hand or whatever we're going to drink, kind of put that together and take a picture of that, post it on social media. That way Jeff doesn't have to worry about coming out.
Okay, I am putting out a poll right now. Okay, so the poll goes like this that I'm posting right here. It says, and tell me if I need to reword it. It says, when it's guys' night out, is it weird for one of the guys, and then in quotes or in parentheses, me, asking, so how are we dressing tonight?
Oh God.
So option number one is going to be legit question. And then option number two would be what? That's just weird. Is there a third option?
Weird. Who cares? I would put who cares? That would be my vote there. Who cares? I don't care what everybody else is wearing.
Okay.
Look, Joe Gonzalez, option 3. No mames. That's my saying. I say that all the time. I say it so much that my sister-in-law that's always hanging out with me all the time, she starts saying that too. No mames.
That's funny. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to remember to go on to Twitter and go on there and allow people to leave comments, because I don't know why Twitter's doing that to my account. They're making it so that everything is private or has to be verified accounts unless I say so. And I looked at my settings. I've had other people look at my settings. My daughter looked at my settings, who knows everything about this stuff, and she's like, I don't know. It just is what it is.
Oh, stay
Dallas
home option 4.
So I posted a tweet earlier today that I knew was going to ruffle some feathers, and it was about Dak Prescott.
No.
Dallas Cowboys won last night. It was a track meet. I don't know, 40-something to 30-something, right?
41-35 final score.
There you go. And any team could have won that game. It was, I think, the 5th game in NFL history where there was not one single punt kicked the entire night. Dak Prescott had another big night. Dak Prescott arguably has been the best quarterback in football the last month. Last night, 299 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. That follows a game where he had 4 touchdowns against Washington, and then he had a 400-yard game against the Giants 2 weeks before that with 4 touchdowns. If you is done since October 29th, or let's say since the loss to San Francisco, he has 5, 8, 12, 14, 16, 19 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Since that San Francisco game where he had 3 interceptions and they lost. So let's go back in time. Asking the question, is he an MVP candidate? Because going into this week, most of the Vegas sports books had Dak Prescott being a top 5 candidate for MVP. So I went back in time and I started asking the question, is he really an MVP candidate? Like, is he going to win? Okay, let's assume that he's a candidate. Cowboys haven't beaten anybody this year. They've got some big games coming up against the Eagles. They've got a big game coming up against the Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills, but they haven't beaten a good team at all this year. What's the record like? 9-3? 9-3.
They're 9-3.
Yeah, all 9 victories against teams that are 500 or worse. So they haven't beaten a good team at all. But I went back in time and I started doing the research myself. And the research was, when was the last time you saw a player win the MVP award from a team that did not win their own division? And if you go back the last 15 years, it's happened only once. And that was a year when Adrian Peterson went off for almost 2,100 yards rushing. Every other situation, every other scenario, the MVP came from somebody who won the division, because it was Patrick Mahomes, it was Peyton Manning, it was Aaron Rodgers, it was all these quarterbacks for the most part that had won. I'm thinking of Lamar Jackson's the other one I'm thinking of. And there's something to be said about, you have to win the division. Can you be a wild card quarterback that didn't win the division? Even if you win 12 or 13 games, does that prevent you from actually winning? Because on the other side, the flip side is, yeah, you might have all these stats in the world and you might be 12-5 or 13-4, but there's a quarterback on the other team, Jalen Hurts, who's 15-2 or 14-3.
Yeah.
May not have the same stats, but has the wins.
The thing with Dak is that I don't even think he can be in that conversation, because you need a couple of things here. Dak, he might be playing good this month, but you need to go ahead and play good the second half. And what happens with the Cowboys is they might look good, December and all that, but when they come back January, seems like they always have some problems on that second half of the season. Right. To end December, to start January, and then around February, that's when we start getting closer to the playoff seeding, wild card seeding, all that kind of stuff. Kind of, you kind of the dust starts to settle, and you kind of find out, okay, well, this is where the team's going to be. More than likely, we already know what's going to happen with the Cowboys. It looks like the Eagles are going to probably go ahead and win the division. Cowboys are going to go ahead and play on the road in a wild card, and that's going to be hard, especially if they're on the road playing against the San Francisco 49ers, who seem to have the Cowboys number because they're physical, get up on them, and really just beat the heck out of them, and the Cowboys just had no answer for them. Dak needs to win in those big-time situations, I think, to really solidify himself in the conversation of being an MVP candidate. Until he can win in those big game scenarios, I just think he's going to be skirting around the outskirts. Not really. He's going to be putting up some good stats, but not really in that conversation because they're going to have other players in there more deserving in my eyes.
He's putting up very good stats for this year compared to the other quarterbacks that are out there.
Yeah.
But it's not like he is on track to, break a record for most yards
Yeah.
thrown or
He's
most
having a good
touchdowns.
season.
He's
Yeah.
having a very, very good season. But then again, you take a look at all the teams the Cowboys have beaten. God dang, it's just nothing, man.
A
Like
nothing burger, man.
how did they get this schedule? Because you got the Commanders twice, the Giants twice. You beat the Chargers, who are a disappointment. The Seahawks. You've just beaten. I mean, the best team that they've beaten is an average team. The best team. And right now, I'm looking at covers.com where it's talking about the odds of winning. Right now, the odds on favorite to win, according to DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, BetMGM, right now, Jalen Hurts is by far the number one candidate. At plus 140 to somewhere around 170. Patrick Mahomes is number 2 at 7-2 odds, though Caesars is given 9-2. At number 3, you got Lamar Jackson, who is going between 4 and 6-1. At number 4 rather. So it's Jalen Hurts at 1, Mahomes at 2, Lamar Jackson at 3. At number 4 now you have Dak Prescott, who's going off at somewhere between 6 and 7-1. He was 20-1 just a couple of weeks ago. Behind him, you got Tua, you got Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey, and then C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen round out the top 10. Chris Gonzalez reads out, says, I think Myles Garrett has a slightly better chance of winning than Dak. Where am I reaching? You are reaching. It's a quarterback's award. It really is. It got me thinking there, Joe. Let's say that Myles Garrett wins Defensive Player of the Year and Micah Parsons is second again. How weird would that be for Micah Parsons?
I think it would be a kind of a slap in the face because let's be honest, man. Micah Parsons plays at a very high level.
Oh, he
It'd
does.
be like it would be the league just basically saying, "Oh, you're playing at a high level, you're putting up the numbers, but it's just not good enough in our eyes."
Well, I mean, he's been back-to-back runner-up, right? So he was a runner-up his rookie year and runner-up his second year. But you take a look at who's been runner-up to the T.J. Watts of the world, the Joey Bosa's of the world, and you look at their stats as well, and you think to yourself, well, that's legit. That is a very legit way of losing. Like how do you take the award away from the other guy? It reminds me of the fact that Tim Duncan, one of the greatest defenders of all time, never won Defensive Player of the Year. He was always first team, but never won. He's still considered one of the greatest. And it's kind of hard to say that. And you take a look at the Cowboys. I wonder if Deron Bland takes some of the votes away from him because Bland has, 5 pick sixes for a touchdown, who are NFL record, had another interception yesterday, almost had a second interception yesterday, was getting burned like crazy most of the night, still got an interception. But I find that to be interesting.
You know what we need to talk about too? Don't we have a great college football game coming up here?
Well, we've got several great college football games coming up. I mean, so Sunday we're going to find out where UTSA and Texas State are going bowling. The two bowls that UTSA are most aligned with right now, according to most of the CBS Sports, The Athletic, Yahoo Sports, all of that, they're saying that UTSA will either go to the Fenway Bowl, which is in Boston, or they would go to the 68 Ventures Bowl, which is in Mobile, Alabama. I'd be excited to go to Boston.
I would be too. Bigger market.
I mean, just to say that you went to Boston. I've never been to Boston. I've been to a lot of cities all over the country. I've been fortunate enough because of my work and freelance stuff that I've done. I've been all over the country, but Boston is one place I've never been to, and I've always wanted to go.
Great sports town.
It is. And you know what? I have gone to Philadelphia. I went to Philadelphia for the first time last year.
City of brotherly love, man.
I absolutely fell in love with that downtown area. Like if I could, I actually applied for a job in Philadelphia. where I would work in Philadelphia Monday through Thursday and be in San Antonio Friday through Sunday with my family, with my kids. But you were talking about college football. That's a very good point because this is the weekend that we find out where everyone's going to go.
Yeah.
Robert Griffin III was on ESPN, and he said something the other day which I thought was funny because he was trying to defend the position that the Texas Longhorns belong in the playoff over Alabama, even if Alabama wins the SEC championship game. And he says, and also over Georgia. And
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith looked at Robert Griffin III, who's very, very bright. I love RG3. Looked at him and said, "You're telling me right now that you believe that Texas belongs over both SEC schools, and that Texas and that no SEC representation, you'd be okay with no SEC representation in the playoff." And Robert Griffin III was like, "Yeah, that's what I'm saying." And Stephen A. Smith was like, "That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. In fact, it's more likely there'll be two SEC schools in there as opposed to none. What's more likely for them to have two or none, right? Because if Georgia loses this weekend to Alabama, do you think that UT will vault over from 7 in the college football playoff right now, that they'll vault over number 1 Georgia because Georgia in the last week of the season?" I
No.
understand the Longhorns argument. I really do.
Yeah.
But there very rarely are this many undefeated teams. So let's go through them because you're asking about some of these games. And I want to give like the times by which this is all happening. Well, first of all, we're going to find out one tonight because tonight is the
Big Ten.
the Pac-12 championship is tonight.
Yeah.
You've got Oregon against Washington State. So Washington State goes on and wins. They're 13-0. They're the Pac-12 champion. They're in, right? But Oregon's actually favored to win this game by 9.5. Oregon's been on fire lately, and if Oregon wins and goes 12-1, they're going to be in. So we're going to go ahead and say that the winner is in, the loser is out of this particular game. And then you have on Saturday morning, you're going to have Oklahoma State taking on Texas, the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship game. So Texas favored by 15 points, and we're going to know whether or not Texas is going to be knocking on the door of a playoff berth. The next game that we're going to be watching, God, Saturday's going to be so great, man.
It is, dude.
So much sports. Georgia against Bama, the championship game. That's a 3 p.m. kickoff. And then you have Michigan and Iowa at 7 p.m. And then the one that everyone's going to be watching as well, because everyone's going to be praying for Louisville to win this game because Louisville plays Florida State. Florida State with a backup quarterback. Florida State is undefeated at 12-0, only favored by 1.5 points. So that's the game right there. If UT fans want to get in, not only does UT need to win, the loss that most definitely needs to happen is Florida State losing to Louisville. And we're not going to know that till later on, 11 p.m. at night, whether or not it's going to happen or not.
Yeah, the one game I'm looking forward to is I was looking forward to the Big Ten championship,
Yeah.
And that's going to be Michigan and Iowa.
Michigan should roll that game, dude. They should. They should. We gonna do any pop culture today?
Yeah, if you want to. Unfortunately, I can't play the nice little jingle because we're not set up for that, and it's only going to happen when you're here in studio.
Okay, so one of my favorite groups of all time, like if I had a Mount Rushmore of my favorite musicians of all time, it's kind of hard to narrow it down to 4, but I would say that I'll put it to you this way. There are a few singers out there where when they die, you would cry if they died, right? So I remember when Scott Weiland died of STP, I teared up. I remember Chester Bennington died of Linkin Park, I teared up. And Chris Cornell of Soundgarden, Audio Slave, when he died, I teared up. And I remember back in the day when Selena died, I had friends that cried, and when Kurt Cobain committed suicide, all that stuff. And every once in a while, you lose an entertainer that you think, oh my God, I cannot believe they passed, or I'm just so upset that they did.
I'd probably be that way if we lost Billy Corgan, the great Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, the first one to really, the first major artist to perform at the Techport.
Yep.
So for me right now, there are only 2 artists that would make me cry if they died. right? Even if it was just natural causes, right?
BB
One
Rex.
one is yeah. I was gonna say something really bad right now. That's the only casket that I would want open, but her turned upside down. Oh my goodness. Okay,
Oh
gross.
God, man.
Last Dance with Mary Jane, necrophilia action right there, dude. That's so bad, but that came to mind. It was a bad joke. It didn't land, but it is what it is. Number one would be George Strait, right? If something happened to George Strait, that's a San Antonio angle to it. I would be sad. But the second one is Daryl Hall.
Daryl
I've seen
Hall.
I've seen Hall and Oates in concert twice at the Majestic Theater. Daryl Hall, Hall and Oates, one of my favorite acts of all time. Love Hall and Oates. So I'm reading right now about what's called the ultimate betrayal, as there's a lawsuit going on between Daryl Hall and John Oates, this duo that has been together longer than I've been alive. They've been
Oh
together
God.
for 50 years. Talk about songs like Sarah's Smile and Private Eyes and Say It Ain't So. And,
A lot
and,
of
and
bangers, dude. They
I
cranked
mean,
out a ton of songs.
yeah. So it says, according to the Guardian, it says more details have emerged in the spat between the duo Hall and Oates. Daryl Hall filed a lawsuit and restraining order against John Oates last week.
Jeez, man.
It was initially a sealed lawsuit. Only few details came out, but in a declaration of it all, Hall laid out his accusations against Oates, saying that the planned sale of Oates' part of the catalog was, quote, completely clandestine and a bad faith move and a blatant violation of the long-standing business agreements between the pair. Okay. So basically, when you are a musician, a lot of them own their own catalog of music, right? So we saw most famously, and I hate to bring up her name, Taylor Swift. Her catalog was sold without her ability to buy it, and because of that, that's why she's re-recording all her music again, so that she can control the narrative, control her music again. Even though it's music being sung 10 years later, that's her way of saying that she wants Taylor's version, right? But we've seen a lot of artists over the years. We saw Justin Timberlake sell his for like $400 million, right? His catalog of music, so that it can be used for commercials and whatever anybody wants to do with his music. They're cashing out. Justin Timberlake was different because he cashed out late, right? He cashed out early, rather. But most of them cash out late in life. You know, Elvis's catalog, be the Beatles, they've all been sold off to different people as time has gone on. So when you have Hall and Oates, it's a duo, it's a collective, right? Hall owns his portion, Oates owns his portion, and Oates was deciding, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just cash my chips in. And apparently Daryl Hall was pissed off at the person or the people that he wanted to sell his rights to.
Yeah. I
Boo-hoo.
mean, I can get that. I mean, you built the catalog together, but at
Right.
the same time, you both own a portion of it. You know, it's no different than a business partnership. You build a business together, you and your business partner, you own the business collectively, but each one of you guys owns a part of the business. So
Right.
it gets sticky there, man. It's a sticky situation. It's almost like, in a way, like a divorce in a way, you know, because one party wants something, the other party wants something else, and you got to find a good median in between the two. And if you can't do something, like you can't find that healthy median, that's when you're going to have to go ahead and file a lawsuit and let the judge decide, you know?
Yeah.
It's
No,
ugly.
it is ugly, but you know, it's like, whose does it belong to? And he
Yeah.
says, well, it's a business partnership. Well, if you have an ownership stake in it, is it really a partnership? I mean, I understand that. I've been in a business partnership before where, you know, I own 50% of a business and they own 50% of the business. And ultimately, um, they get to decide what they want to do with their 50%,
Yeah.
you know, because if you don't have majority interest or majority ownership, I mean, I'll give you an example. The Spurs are owned by the whole family, but the whole family doesn't own 100%. They own like, what, 50 some odd,
Yeah.
60%.
They're the majority. Yeah.
They're the majority owner, therefore they can control it. But when it's 50-50, it gets kind of sticky. And that's kind of the rub when it comes to it. And now you see one of these great duos of all time that has all these hit songs and records and albums throughout all these years. It'd be sad if they no longer perform together anymore. Not because one passed away, because I'm thinking of like Don Henley and not Don Henley, Glenn Fry when he passed away, and the Eagles kind of continued on without him. You can't have Hall and Oates without Oates. You can't have Hall and Oates without Daryl Hall. It just is what it is, you know. But I found it to be interesting that Daryl Hall, John Oates are in the outs and are now in a courtroom filing a restraining order against each other for the sale of music.
You know,
Crazy.
I'm just gonna bring this up, man. This is crazy. I know we're getting near the end of the show here, but
Mhm.
did you see what Forbes did the other day? They went ahead and crowned Bad Bunny as a king of pop now. Not no longer Michael Jackson. It's now Bad Bunny as a new has the new crown as the king of pop.
You know, I mean, he's the most streamed artist in the world right now. You
Yeah,
know, so I guess that there's a difference between who's the king of pop or the queen of pop when it comes to stateside versus outside. I look at it this way: um, the world's biggest sports star might be like Messi, Ronaldo, or Beckham, and all these soccer stars from all these years, right? But in the U.S., where do they rank? They're still up there, but they're not one, two, or three. You know, because in the United States, it's always been Jordan and LeBron and Steph Curry and Tom Brady and all that stuff. It's the exact same thing when it comes to like a Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny, don't get me wrong, has millions of fans. He sold out the Alamo Dome for crying out loud. You know, 65,000 fans were over there. I'm not a fan of the music, but I'm not going to diss the music. Is
yeah,
he the king of pop? Maybe worldwide he is. Maybe he is worldwide. I mean, if you looked at the most streamed songs of the year last year, I don't know the answer as to the most streamed female was probably Taylor Swift. But the songs that got streamed the most that were female artists, I saw this chart the other day. It was Shakira.
yeah.
And is she getting those streams from the US? Well, I mean, she's getting her fair share from the US, but she's getting them from Latin America. She's getting them from Spain, from Portugal, from all of these different places all around the world. And it's an international thing. I mean, you take a look at the K-pop in Korea. The K-pop stars are huge, and some
Oh
of them
yeah,
have
no
have
doubt.
come to BTS, and all of them have come to the United States and have done very well. But I mean, they get hundreds of millions, if not billions, of streams over there. It's just like, is it on the radar in the U.S. is what I'm asking.
Yeah. No, so I mean, it was controversial. This came out. I saw it earlier this week, and you had the faction of fans that were like, "Whoa, no, it's Michael Jackson's the king of pop." But I'm like, times are changing now, man. Things are different now. And he was, yes, he may have been like the iconic guy when you're thinking of pop music and all the stuff that he did back in the day. But in today's time, things are changing. And I think Bad Bunny, even though I personally don't listen to that music, he's made great strides, and like you said, you can't deny the numbers, that the magnitude of what he's able to do and that worldwide audience that he has. I mean, he's worked really hard to get to where he's at. So, giving him that crown of the new king of pop, I think it's something that probably needed to happen.
And we saw him host Saturday Night Live a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
You
And he
know,
can wrestle. The dude has many talents. He can legit get in the ring and wrestle, dude. Like, surprise the shit out of me.
really.
Yeah, like he's come out in the WWE pay-per-views, and the guy's got skills, man. Like he's athletic, man. He gets on it, man. Like if you go back and you watch YouTube videos, highlights of what he's done in the ring with professional wrestlers, this guy can hold his own, man. Like he's
Nice.
legit. Yeah.
Nice. You know, it's funny, talk about wrestlers. When I was at Super Bowl Radio Row and I had a long conversation with a wrestler, had no idea who he was, man. And it wasn't until like a year later when I went to go see WWE Raw. I took my daughter over there. They had the Monday whatever,
Yeah.
and I took my daughter over there. I was got to meet the Miz.
Oh
Had,
yeah.
had no idea who he was, dude. No idea. I just he was dressed sharp and he was a funny guy. He was a funny guy.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a character, man. And you remember he started that character, Mike, the Miz.
yeah.
He made that character up when he was on The Real World, New Orleans or something like that. And it was like a skit, right? Like a little thing that he was doing. It was a
Yeah.
bit, right? He came out and they were all having fun inside the the loft or whatever that they had rented out for them, and he has a little belt, the little WWE belt. He made that persona, the Miz, and this and that. And they asked him what his dream was, and at that time he's like, "Oh, I want to be a WWE superstar." It's funny how years after that, he's coming out now and he's a WWE superstar,
Yeah,
and that's a persona. The guy's not really like that. He just plays a good heel,
he
and he's
does.
good at it, dude.
He,
He's actually good at it.
he does. And we were talking about family. We were talking about his wife and his
Yeah.
kids. And, it's all just a deal. Chris Gonzalez reaches out to us and says Bad Bunny can work a
Work
match.
a
Not
match.
Logan Paul good, but Bunny can hold it down. I'd like to see it.
True, man.
And I'm not going to diss
true
it. And
statement.
it's difficult because I have reached the age, and you're of the same age as me, where a lot of people that are our age will like diss talent of today and go, "Oh, the music's not as good as it used to be." I will say that about rock music because rock music kind of doesn't exist anymore, and to
Yeah.
some extent,
Oh,
R and
pop.
B doesn't exist anymore. But when
Yeah.
it comes to like pop, when it comes to certain types of country, I mean, it just evolves, man. It's perfectly fine. So a lot of big games that we mentioned this weekend. Texas, they got to win. You can't complain yet. If they win,
You're in.
people are going to complain. People are going to
Yeah.
complain. And if Bama wins, oh my God.
Roll Tide. That's all
Makes
you're going to be hearing.
Yeah, because as I mentioned on the show on Wednesday, it's not an argument anymore about Texas versus Bama. The question is, it's Texas versus Georgia because Bama gets in as the conference champion of the toughest conference in all of college football. That's not an argument. That's not the argument. It's not Texas, Georgia, Texas, Bama. Bama gets in. It's
Yeah.
whether Texas and Georgia, which one's more deserving between those two. Texas had a fantastic season, though, man. I mean, is Texas the top 4 team in the country? Yes, they are. They are. So the complaint, the argument that I'm making, the elephant in the room, is not necessarily that I think that they're not worthy, because I think they are worthy. It just stacks up in a very bad circumstance for them. Jeff
Look at this.
Town says, living in New York City, he was everywhere, gyms, bars, etc.
He's
Talking about
talking
the Miz.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Bad Bunny. Either one. I believe it either
One
way.
of those. Yeah.
But he said gym, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that he's talking about the Miz.
Yeah.
That's very cool. But Joe, I got to get going, my man. I've got
me
kids
too.
to feed.
I got to go out with the wife. Got to go get some dinner. It's Friday. Got to take her somewhere nice before maybe I have a night out with the fellas.
You see, got to get some dinner, maybe a little pickle tickle, then tuck her in and watch some TV. And
Or like
then
what does Chris Leja say? I got to give the wife some palo. Freaking Chris Leja has me cracking up, bro.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, man.
But everyone have a great weekend. I'm glad that we were able to do a late show. This was fun, but it's getting kind of dark in here. And I just saw my daughter walk up there with a big old sleeve of Oreo cookies up the stairs. And I'm like,
Oh, man.
She's hungry. Time to make some food.
That's the appetizer. Yeah, Daddy has to make some food now.
It's crispy taco night, my man.
There you go. All right, man. Well, it's been fun. We look forward to doing this again, maybe on Monday.
Yeah.
If you want to go in the afternoons, we can do this, and I can probably join you. But if you can't, you know how to get in here, and you can work everything, man. It's all yours.
We'll figure it out, brother.
All right, man. Maybe I'll see you Saturday. Maybe I won't.
What are you gonna be wearing? What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? I'm gonna tell Jeff. What are you wearing, Jeff? What are you wearing?
Late.
Laters.